I'm going to lock the room as well. Lock meeting and randomize questions. Okay, let's do it. All right, share screen. Okay. I'll also get you the Google form if you can't play Kahoot on your phone. Okay. So I think this should be the form. Say is this on? Okay, that's okay. Where is this form? Okay, it's here. So if you don't have a working Kahoot, you might want to try this, chats. Try this here and go to this Google form. So you can take the Kahoot here, or we can, take it right over here. Okay. Sorry about that. That's some disco music. Make sure you tell me who you are, otherwise you can't score any marks. Should be pretty easy. Okay, so Leba, are you okay to try Kahoot?
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Okay, let's give it a go. How many people do we have? We have 10 people, so we're missing 2 people right now. Marcus and Jackie, can you please join? Are you there and can you join? Okay, thank you, Jackie. Marcus, can you please join? This is causing so much lag. This is causing lag. You can't hit the link. I don't know what that means, Marcus. I'm a little confused by what you mean. You can go to kahoot.it. And, whoops, sorry. And then you can enter this number here, and then you can go in. Okay. Well. Hi, Angus. Yes. You want the Kahoot numbers? Yes. Okay. It's 857-866. 857-866. Try that. No thing, miss. Okay, sure, Angus. Thanks for joining the lesson. Okay, let's do it. Kevin, you're in too. I don't know how you got in, but congratulations. Let's make a start. Put the words in order to form the correct sentence. Make sure you hit enter. Great. So I could, and could is a modal verb. So we're focusing on this today. We have a subject, I. We have the modal verb, could. Then we have the base verb, attend. Then we have everything else, including an if statement, if I have time. Okay. I could attend. All right, let's give it a go. Number 2. Oh, I think there might be some spelling things as well. Okay, you have to spell this word. I'm sorry about that. It's actually not put the words, put the letters in the correct order to form the correct word. Sorry about that. Okay. So here we see over, right? That's one word, and weights. So it's a compound word. A compound word is when you put 2 words together to form another word. So we have overweight. Overweight is a compound word. Okay, here we go. I don't know if this is a sentence or a word. I'm sorry about that. Here's a word. Okay. So here we have another word. And this inter is a very famous word part, beginning of a word, like international. So we have inter. And then we have a view, an interview. But then we have a word ending EE, interviewee, which refers to the recipient of the interview. So an interviewee is different from an interviewer. Let me actually write that down. Okay. So interviewee is not an interviewer. An interviewer interviews the interviewee. At the interview, the interviewer interviews the interviewee. So an interview is a thing, the interviewer is a person, interview is a verb, and interviewee is also a person. Okay. All right. Trapped. Help. Help. Oh no. Oh no. So here we have another modal verb. You might want to repeat after me. Modal verb. Might is another modal verb. So you have the subject, I, might, and then you have the base verb, fail. Fail what? The English test. And then you have time again. We add the time at the end of the sentence. All right. So at this point, we have modal verbs equals could, might. Nice, Bosco. Excellent. Super, Bosco. Spectacular. Question 5. I don't know if this is a word or a sentence. Hey, nice. So curiosity is a noun, curious is the adjective, and ty is a common noun word ending. So when we see ty, we generally see nouns. Okay, question 6. So this is a sentence. There are clues, including the capital letter and the full stop. Good. So this is present continuous tense. And again, the clues are, look, there's a capital letter, there's a full stop. So you should know the first part of the sentence and the last part of the sentence. And we see here the present continuous tense. We see a present tense be verb and then a present participle. She is joining. Joining what? A drawing class. When? Time. Next month. So you've actually seen in all of these sentences, the time, the reference to time is at the end of the sentence. Great. This is very exciting. 4 to go. Okay. So again, see capital letter, that should go first. Then we see a full stop, that should go at the end. Here we see the simple future tense, will, call, the base form, who, you. And then we see when as a connective, connecting he is free and he will call you. I don't think we're learning that in this chapter. When. we go. Free to go. Okay, great. So we see present continuous tense, am, having. We see a capital letter, which is the subject, I. We see the full stop. I am having what? A party. Again, the time is at the end of the sentence, next Saturday. All the sentences that we've seen today have the time at the end of the sentence. That's a useful pattern. Two to go. Okay. Here's some clues. You see TION, which is usually a noun word ending, addiction. The person who is addicted is an addict. Okay. So an addict, a person has an addiction. An addict has an addiction. Nice. Addict has an addiction. Last question. Good. Okay. So we see ing at the end of the word. And that's the present participle. And it's also a gerund. So gambling, when you see ing at the end of the word, is usually a noun, the action of gambling. Quick question. What is the name or what is the word for the person who gambles? What is the word for the person who gambles? Good. So you see that gambler is person who gambles. Just like the interviewer equals person who interviews. So you can change word forms by adding like an ER, and that indicates a person who does something. Okay. Teacher, a person who teaches. Okay. So that's useful to know that the ER at the end of the word signifies person who does something. Speaker, a person who speaks. Listener, person who listens, etc. Excellent, Bosco. Nice job, Jermaine, Jaden, Ayush. I give you a clap. Congratulations. That's super. I'm gonna get some feedback. So I'll take care of these results. I'll save the results. Direct download. Moments. Let me download these things. So I think this is our first online dictation. It was okay. I'm glad that everyone was able to try. Okay. So now we're going to go back to our Google Classroom. Are there any questions? No? Okay. So now let's go to modal verbs. And we had seen sentences in our Kahoot with modal verbs. And specifically, let's focus on modal verbs to express advice, obligation, and possibility. I'll send you the link right now. Okay. So I think in our grammar unit, we're supposed to talk about could and might and may. And they're far more modal verbs than those. And I just include the PowerPoints. So I include 4 PowerPoints, but we're going to just go over maybe the advanced version. Actually, let's go with simple and then advanced, and then we'll take a quiz and we'll call it a day. So we're looking at possibility. And we're looking at 2 modal verbs, can and could. Can and could. So the difference between can and could is time. And I would add that could is also used in the past. You may think of it as the past tense of can. Okay. So we can succeed if we work hard. Sure, that's a general statement. We see, okay, I'm going to draw your attention. This is an if statement, so it connects 2 sentences. We see work hard, present tense. Then we see can, the modal verb, and the base verb succeed. Okay, so again, we see an if sentence, we see present tense in one sentence, then we see can succeed in another sentence. Okay. Now here we see one sentence with could, and then we see the base verb is be. Okay, so this is the meaning that I had been referring to a minute ago. Could is like the simple past form of can. So if we take a look at the first sentence, when I was young, right? We see past tense. First, we see the connective when. Right? Then we see the past tense. And then we see could not speak. Right? So we see when, which connects two sentences. One sentence uses past tense, simple past tense. The other sentence uses could not speak. Okay. In the next sentence, we see now. And then we see can perform. Okay, so can and could are not only about possibility and ability, it's about permission. All right, so can, could have many meanings. And they include possibility, ability, and permission meanings. Can I go to the fundraising marathon this coming Sunday? I draw your attention to two things. One is you have the modal verb here, and then you have go. Can I go? Or could I go? Then you have a time here. Did you notice in our dictation that the time, the reference to time, is at the end of the sentence? That's a great structure to remember. Just when you're referring to the time, put it at the end of a sentence. Okay. And you can use it to make requests. So, can, could, lend. Okay. I don't understand, but okay, that's the point. So this is the base form of the verb. That means you don't make any changes. You can't say he can swam, he can swum, he can swims, he can swimmed, he can swimming. No, you must always use the base form of the verb after the modal verb. I think a lot of Hong Kong people get confused about this because a lot of people use a direct translation. Like they think can is like 可以, and then they think that what follows, whatever it follows 可以, is a noun. So they use a lot of gerunds, but that's incorrect in English. So you always have to have a base form of the verb following the modal verb. It's something that I think may confuse Hong Kong people. Okay. So again, this is just reiterating the point. It is always swim. It doesn't matter if it's this or this, it's always swim. So people who can do this, that is always put the base form after the modal verb, have a higher level of English than people who cannot do this. I think this is a very simple test of English proficiency because I think many Hong Kong people, as I said before, can't put the correct form of the verb or the correct word after the modal verb, because they're always thinking in Cantonese and then trying to translate directly into English, which creates problems. So you actually have to have an understanding of English, not an understanding of Cantonese, to do this correctly. Okay. And this is the formation of a question. And when we form a question, a yes-no question, we split the verbs and put the subject here. Okay, are there any questions? No? Okay, thank you, Dr. Ayush. Okay. Yes, no questions, sure. When do we use can, could? So this is a summary. There are a lot of different meanings. So a modal verb is a verb that gives a different meaning, modality to a sentence. So let's see if we can actually get you a word, modal, modality. Okay. So modal equals mood. So modal verbs equal mood verbs. So what kinds of moods can introduce these moods of possibility, ability, permission, request, possibility and ability, permission, request, but also a time element. Present, future possibility, past ability. Okay. I'm going to show you the advanced version now. And then we'll take a quiz. So now we're looking not only at can and could, but we're looking at may and might. Two more modal verbs that introduce possibility. Okay, so all four verbs imply or indicate possibility in a sentence. Can, could, may, might. Degrees of possibility. That is, some verbs indicate a higher degree of possibility. Some verbs indicate a lower degree of possibility. And here we go. This is very important. So can means most possible. Could means least possible. Then we have may, somewhat possible, and might, less possible. Okay. So this is an order of degree of possibility for modal verbs. Can, may, might, could. So when we see can finish, one, you see can. Two, you see finish. And you see also, look, it's the time reference at the end of the sentence. Again, we keep seeing it. If you're going to refer to time, you can refer to time at the end of a sentence. So this means very possible. This is a very possible sentence. Now let's go to somewhat possible, may. So we just substitute the modal verb, may finish, we see the time word. So this is somewhat possible. That's the meaning. Might, less possible. So we might finish today. Less possible. And then least possible. Could finish today. All right. So how do we make a negative statement? Add not after the modal verb. Cannot, could not, may not, might not. So you see, might not go. But look, another time word at the end of a sentence. So hopefully, boys and girls, you're getting a feel that to indicate the time of the sentence, you might want to put it at the end of the sentence. That's some bonus learning today. Okay, so this is a review, and that's it. We're done. Any questions? Okay. I don't know whether or not I should give you the quiz now. Maybe I'll give this to you for homework. And for the last 14 minutes of a lesson, we can go to our writing and maybe try to write topic sentences. Here, I'm going to send you the link. Let's go here. And let's try to construct sentences using modal verbs. Okay. So let's see. Let's actually try learning target 3 today. And the subtarget is I can write topic sentences using modal verbs of possibility. So let's see if we can't write at least 2 topic sentences using modal verbs of possibility. Can, could, may, might. I can accurately write. So everyone has a page. And we have the writing prompt. That is, we need to go to the textbook, page 117. Thanks. And I'll share that with you. I think this link should take you to the textbook. And so on page 117, we have our prompts. If you're interested, what we just reviewed is on page 109. So on page 117, we are going to respond to seriously annoyed boy. And in our last lesson, we developed the structure of the email, including the date, the subject, the greeting, the introduction, a problem paragraph, body paragraphs of suggestions, ending paragraph, and closing. We also determined words, vocabulary words that we wanted to use. Now, let's try to write body paragraph, topic, sentence 1, and body paragraph, topic, sentence 2. Modal verb of possibility. So let's see if we can't construct just 2 sentences, topic sentences for your body paragraphs using modal verbs of possibility. If you can, use your vocabulary word too. And again, you're responding to this prompt. So based on this, what 2 pieces of advice or suggestions would you give to the seriously annoyed boy? And how would you introduce these suggestions? Any questions? No? Okay, we have about 8 minutes. Let's try to write at least 2 sentences, topic sentences. I'll check, and I'll make sure that everyone actually has a page as well. So here we go. Gordon, you have one. Let's see, Angelica, Angus, and Ayush. Angelica, Angus, and Ayush. Angelica, you're on page 3. Ayush, you're on page 4. Okay, Angus, I'm going to give you a page. and I'll give you what I've done thus far. So Angus, you're on page 11. Okay. What else do we have here? Marcus, Jermaine, and Jackie. Jackie, you're on page 10. Marcus, are you here? Okay. So Marcus, we're going to put you on page 12. Two topic sentences for your two paragraphs. Use modal verbs of possibility in your topic sentences. Jaden Leba, good. Now let me think of something. First, you can talk to your friend to express your feelings and to convince him with him to change his behavior. If your friend refuses to change his behavior after you speak with him, you might want to ask your parents for advice. Ask your parents for advice. All right. So I'm just highlighting the modal verbs. I have 3 more minutes. So I've written 2 topic sentences, and I'm going to develop some ideas in my body paragraphs about expressing feelings and reasoning with the friends. And then I'm going to ask my parents for advice. What do you think, Angelica? What do you think, Dr. Ayush? What are 2 pieces of advice that you would give to a seriously annoyed boy? What do you think, Bosco? You're going to give advice to a seriously annoyed boy. You can use modal verbs of possibility. So you can do this, you might do this, you may do this. Okay, Jermaine. Now, Jermaine, I'm going to draw your attention to your body paragraph of suggestions. You need to understand the topic. You're writing to seriously annoyed boy, and he's writing to you, Dr. Q, because seriously annoyed boy has a problem with his friend. The problem is his friend. Your best friend, Mark, has a problem, a video game addiction. So you're not writing to Mark, Jermaine. The problem isn't seriously annoyed boy, right? You is seriously annoyed boy. Mark is the problem. You're not writing to Mark. You're writing to seriously annoyed boy. So there are actually 3 characters. Okay, thank you, Angelica. So our writing task involves at least 3 characters. Dr. Q, seriously annoyed boy, and Mark. Dr. Q, seriously annoyed boy, and Mark. Yes, you can talk to or with. Okay, you're almost there. Get me a sentence, Jaden. Okay. To Mark, I'm just going to clarify this. If Mark Now I'm going to take attendance and we'll finish up. So Jaden, you're here. Angelica, you're here. Marcus, you're here. And Jermaine, you're here. Jackie, you are here, are you? Okay. Angus, you're here. Welcome, Angus. Gordon, you're not here. Bosco, you're here. Dr. Ayush, you're here. Leva, you're here. 3, 6, 8. Okay. All right, so this is what we'll do for homework. I think next week we'll continue to write this, and we'll complete it. I'll set the vocabulary, the grammar quiz, and see what we can do with this, okay? So I'll set that for homework, and I'll count it as like a grammar quiz, some kind of quiz, and we'll review it next time. Any questions? Yeah. Okay, thank you guys.